This is In the Mix, and I'm Safear. Today, I'm going to be talking to Sarah. Sarah is a student and an organizer with SCDS, the Student Committee for Defense and Solidarity. Sarah is working with local groups to hold a May Day celebration at State College on May 7th. Sarah is going to tell us the history of May Day and its connection to local organizing. Have you here today?
Nice to be here.
Awesome. So we're going to talk a little bit about May Day. May Day, I feel like, is something which is often pretty known in organizing circles, but maybe not as well known generally in the mainstream public. So maybe you can tell me a little bit about where May Day comes from.
Yeah, I mean, just the little starting off point, but there's a reason, especially in America, people don't know about May Day. But May Day overall, it is International Workers' Day, and it's kind of a culmination of the celebration and the struggle of workers. Ever since essentially capitalism existed, people have been struggling against it, fighting for better conditions, better rights, and this is just a celebration of those, and more importantly, a continuation of that fight. And where specifically the date comes from, May 1st, it ties back to the Haymarket Affair in Chicago, May of 1886, where during that time, there's a lot of worker struggle. And one of the biggest issues at that time was the 8-hour workday. And so during a demonstration rally for the 8-hour workday with plenty of workers, people fighting for it, one of the rallies in Haymarket, there was a bomb that went off, and it killed several people, including some police officers. And because of that bomb going off, the police officers attacked the crowd, inciting a riot. And in the aftermath of the riot, there were 7 anarchists and socialists who were sentenced to death because they were viewed as leaders of the worker struggle in the area, even though most of them weren't even in the area at the time of the rally. They were entirely sentenced to death for retaliation of their organizing. And, with struggle comes retaliation by the state, by the capitalists who don't take lightly to struggle, which is all the more important reason why we're celebrating it is, their sacrifices. And, we know everyone involved with this has to sacrifice at least on some level. So a celebration of that, but also moving forward. And I guess specifically with the reason for the date May 1st, in 1890, there was on May 1st, there was declared an international strike by many, countries in the world, International Workers Congress, and they held that day as, the International Workers Holiday, celebration for that. And then further, with the establishment of the Soviet Union, the first workers' state, there was a further spreading of May Day, International Workers' Day.
Okay. So that's interesting. So it really is this really strong tradition of workers and workers' rights and anti-capitalist, organizing that culminates in May Day. So you mentioned in the beginning that May Day is a culmination of a tradition of organizing for workers' rights and anti-capitalist organizing. I'm interested in hearing about what do you think are some differences between May Day and Labor Day, right? Isn't Labor Day already a holiday that we have in the US to celebrate workers' rights?
Yeah, so I mean, technically that is one, maybe the day off work is nice, but, Labor Day was specifically made to distract from May Day itself. Even other countries, that aren't exactly like socialist or even progressive, some of them do still hold a holiday on May 1st as like Workers' Day, Labor Day, something of that sort. But the US specifically decided to create Labor Day as a way to get American workers away from the international working class, as a way to separate them, as in no International Workers' Day. It's here's a day for the American laborers. They're special or whatever. Whatever. Just a way to isolate them and like an attack on not only American workers but the international working class with that. And even if you look at it, every year there's a presidential address where Biden recently posted his for May 1st of Loyalty Day, as a way on May 1st, another way to distract against working International Workers' Day, as a you're that day, instead of pledging your loyalty to the international working class, instead pledge it to the American empire, the American state. And part of that is rejecting that and fighting for your fellow workers no matter where they are. But yeah, overall, with like we're celebrating May Day, International Workers' Day, to honor those who sacrificed for the international workers movement and to continue on in that same fight, and generally just come together with the whole community in our area and others around the world who are doing so in a fight for that international movement.
So really, it sounds like Labor Day was just an attempt to co-opt like workers organizing and distract from May Day, because May Day is radical in its orientation, right? Like, we're talking about a workers organizing that wants to overthrow capitalism. So in order to distract from that, they created this Labor Day. And then even further, what you're saying, on May 1st, there's another so-called holiday created, Loyalty Day, where you pledge your allegiance to empire on the day of International Workers' Rights. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. So, okay, so it shows that it's actually important then to maintain this tradition of May Day, right? And so hold on to this tradition. So that's why I know a lot of groups around the country and around the world hold festivals and gatherings for May Day. And I know we are also planning on holding one here in State College. So can you tell us a little bit about this event?
So basically, May Day is about coming together as a community, as workers, as tenants, as all oppressed people, to demonstrate our power to the people oppressing us, the capitalists, the police, the bigots, all of them, and our collective power against them. And through that, also a celebration, of course, of our struggle, but everyone's around the world. And we'll have things at the rally, political education, getting together with a bunch of different groups, tabling, things like that, learning how to get involved, music, food.
Be on May 7th at Allen Street Gates, 2 p.m. Festivities are at Sidney Freeman Park at 3 p.m. This is State College, PA.